Good afternoon and welcome to the Planning Committee here today at Mid Sussex. My name is Councillor Gary Marsh. I'm the Chairman of the committee. To my left is Councillor Mike Kennedy, who's my Vice Chairman. To my right is Nick Rogers, who's Head of Development Control Manager. To his right is our new to me, if not new last month, is Paul Weeks, our solicitor. To the left and to the right are Democratic Service officers, and I'm going to introduce the newest member of the Democratic Services, Sam. He just put his hand up there. They look after us, and in front of us are the members of the committee who will be making the decision, and we'll go from here. Right, so item 1 on the agenda is to receive apologies for absence, and I've got Councillor Kenny, who contacted myself. Item 2 is receive declaration of interest from members in respect of any matter on the agenda. Has anybody? Nope. Item 3, to agree by general affirmation of the minutes of the previous meeting held on the 8th, which was ably chaired by my Vice Chairman and Councillor Sweatman, who did the honours. I will not put my hand up because I wasn't here. Okay, so if you're happy with the minutes, could you just say yay? Agreed, thank you. And item 4 is to consider any items the Chairman agrees to take as urgent business. I have none. And I'm just to remind members of the committee to keep the discussions relevant to the context of the planning application that you have in front of you and the agenda items, so we don't go down any rabbit holes, please. So we've now got item 5. It's DM 230890, Linden House, South Downs Park, Haywards Heath, West Sussex, and this one is yours, Joe.
Thank you, Chairman. I'll just take members through the update sheet. The first item on page 16, paragraph 10.5, a decimal point was missed. It's actually 4.5 metres in depth, the bin store, not 45. In relation to condition 21 on page 46, this has been amended to read that no development shall take place above slab level unless and until the applicant has submitted a sustainability statement that sets out clearly what sustainable measures will be incorporated into the development aimed at minimising the amount of energy that the building will use and the water consumption of occupiers. And this includes that the development shall only be carried out in accordance with the approved details, and the reason is in the interest of achieving energy efficient sustainable development and to accord with policy DP 39 of the Mid Sussex District Plan. We have an additional condition on page 46 as well. This reads that no part of the development shall first be occupied unless and until the details specified within the submitted travel plan statement of January 2024 have been implemented in full unless otherwise agreed by the local planning authority. And the reason is to provide alternative travel options to the use of the car in accordance with the sustainable transport policies and in accordance with DP 21 of the Mid Sussex District Plan. And finally, we have an additional informative to advise the developer/applicant to liaise with the South Down Parks Management Company in order to undertake an assessment of the condition of the private road and to ensure any detrimental impact to the private road, either during or post-construction, is repaired to its original condition. The application seeks full planning permission for the demolition of the existing vacant building and the erection of a new Part 3 and Part 4-storey building containing 17 flats at Linden House, South Downs Park in Haywards Heath. The application site is shown on this plan outlined in red, and it currently comprises of a 3-storey building, Linden House, which was originally used as nurses' accommodation associated with the historic use of the site as a psychiatric hospital. The existing building has remained vacant for a number of years now and is in a fairly dilapidated condition. The site borders onto residential dwellings of Bennett's Rise to the west. It has the converted Grade 2 South Downs Park development to the south. To the east, we have the Grade 2 listed chapel, which is being converted to a nursery. And to the north, sort of northeast is 1 to 4 The Elms with residential dwellings. And to the north of the site is a lodge building, which was formerly a sales office, part of the wider South Downs development. The application site is designated within the Mid Sussex District Plan as being within the built-up area boundary of Haywoods Heath. The site is, as mentioned, is within the setting of the Grade 2 Listed Chapel and the Grade 2 South Downs Park. And as we can see from the block plan, it shows the outline here of the current proposal, which is the green hashed line. It might not be too clear, but the orange outline shown on the plan is the existing building, and it's a sort of a pink colour, but it might be too clear, is the outline of the extant permission. Just for context, here we can see the floor plans of the existing building. When the building was in use, as I said, it was nurses' accommodation, and we can see it had over 40 bedrooms associated with that use. And for context, here are the existing elevations. It is accepted that the building has a number of attractive features, but as will be visible in the photos later on within this presentation, the building is in very poor condition. And also worth noting is that the current extant permission has already granted consent for its demolition and replacement. The planning history is a material consideration, and in this case, outline permission has been granted for a replacement of the building with 14 flats. The appearance, layout, landscaping and scale was considered as part of that outline consent. The only matter being reserved was the access. As such, the plans that we can see here is what has been previously approved. So we have got replacement 4-storey building previously agreed on this site. As part of the history as well, just to make members aware that the previous permission was supported with a viability statement which found that the proposal was not viable. So the previous consent was making no infrastructure or affordable housing contributions. Whereas the current proposal, no viability statement has been submitted, and therefore they will be providing infrastructure contributions towards education, libraries, the pedestrian improvement scheme, play equipment, kick-around facilities, formal sports and community buildings and local community infrastructure as set out on page 36, together with a commuted sum towards affordable housing of £362,000, which will be secured as part of the Section 106 agreement, which is currently being progressed. So the following two plans show how the site will be set out. The proposal is looking to provide soft landscaping all the way around the building, with a bike and bin store located to the rear. The proposal will provide 14 car parking spaces to the frontage. This is almost identical to the parking layout as approved for the 14-unit extant consent. The current proposal is for 17 flats, so 3 of the flats would not have an allocated parking space. However, West Sussex Highways have been consulted on this, and they have not raised any objections on a highway access or parking arrangement. The lower parking provision is considered acceptable as the site is within a sustainable location. It's within walking distance of a number of bus stops. In addition, any on-street parking will be in accordance with the restrictions within the wider locality. And the other plan here just shows how the site can be arranged during the sort of demolition. Full details of that will have been secured by Condition 11 as set out in Appendix A. In terms of the housing mix, the proposal is looking to provide 4 one-bedroom flats, together with 11 two-bedroom flats, and then the top floor will provide 2 3-bedroom flats. The housing mix will provide smaller market units that are required in Haywoods Heath, and it's considered that this mix would comply with the policy TP31 of the Mid Sussex District Plan. In terms of the design, here we have the western front elevation and the eastern rear elevation. It's the officer's opinion that the current proposal with a number of design features will actually add interest to the building and is an overall improvement over the existing extant consent. Furthermore, as identified within the Town Council comments, they consider the design of the current proposal is exemplar and one of the best that the Town Council has seen for many years. Here we can see the northern and southern end elevations. Just to highlight from the plans as well, you can see that the proposal has shown PV panels to the southern elevation. The proposal has been supported by an energy statement which sets out the sustainability measures and the details of which have been secured by condition 21 in Appendix A. In relation to the single-storey bin store located to the rear, it's seeking to provide 24 bike spaces together with a communal store. A similar design is proposed. Here we have a couple street scenes. So just for context, again, on these plans, you can see the current proposal with the pink line marking the current extant permission. So as you can see, it is slightly lower on the main ridge than the extant consent, and is also in part slightly lower than the existing building, while being of a similar footprint as the existing, although at ground floor level, just to make clear, it is setting it slightly further back from the listed chapel. The application has been supported with a couple of CGIs, so members can see how the proposal will appear, and give an idea of how the proposal will appear on site. Here we have a couple more just to view. So the following photos just show how the building is the building in context of surrounding. So the first is from the south, just so you can clearly quite see how the building has deteriorated. It's obviously got a lot of growth on the building and there's a number of smashed windows. With the building being vacant for a number of years, it has provided the opportunity for some wild, which have been checked by the council's ecology consultant, who has raised no objection to the proposal subject to conditions. And in accordance with condition 7, the applicant is required to submit details of the enhancement measures contained within the ecology report. So just to highlight to members that these will include details of bat boxes and swift nesting boxes to be submitted and approved. And the final two photos here are just from the front of the building, just to highlight the sort of condition of the current property. So the main reasons are set out within the report, but to highlight a few key considerations, the proposal is to provide 17 flats on a brownfield site within a sustainable location within the built-up area boundaries of Haywards Heath. The proposal is considered to be a marked improvement over the existing extant permission in terms of its design, and would also be providing infrastructure contributions together with commuted sum towards affordable housing. It is accepted that the proposal would not meet the West Sussex parking standards. However, as mentioned, there are no objections from West Sussex Highways, and a lower provision is considered acceptable in this sustainable location. Finally, it is accepted that the proposal would result in less than substantial harm to the setting of the heritage assets. However, there are a number of social and economic benefits from this development, which are considered, the public benefits of which are considered to outweigh the identified harm. And recommendation A is that planning permission is granted subject to conditions set out in Appendix A, subject to the completion of the Section 106 agreement to secure the infrastructure contributions and the affordable housing commuted sum. We have a recommendation B that it's recommended that if the applicants have not submitted a satisfactory signed Section 106 legal agreement securing the infrastructure payments, and affordable housing provision by the 14th of June 2024, then permission should be refused at the discretion of the Assistant Director for Planning and Economy for the following reason: in that the application fails to comply with policies DP20 and DP31 of the Mid-Sussex District Plan in respect of infrastructure requirements to serve the development and the requirements of affordable housing contribution. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Joseph. We do have a speaker in support of this. Can I ask Mr. Joyce, can you go to the speaker's seat there? When you press the right-hand button, the red light should come on. You have 2 minutes to speak. You've been here before, so you know. And the countdown clock is actually on the main screen as well. After 90 seconds, I will say you've only got 30 seconds left. So when you're ready, please.
Thank you. Paul Joyce from Lewis & Co Planning, representing the developer. Thank you for the opportunity to speak in support of this proposal. Thank you also to Joseph for your work on this site over the past 18 months. As councillors can see, the Linden House building is derelict. The 3-storey former nurses' accommodation has been vacant for decades. It is a blight on the South Downs Park estate, attracts antisocial behaviour and is in need of development. The site benefits from a permission for a new building of 14 overly large flats. This proposal for 17 flats is a significant improvement over that scheme and one that can be delivered. The new design represents high quality architecture, clearly born from its context while being attractive and honestly contemporary. Haywards Heath Town Council deems it an exemplar design and one of the best the town has seen for many years. Your planning officers rightly conclude the public benefits outweigh the small degree of harm to the setting of the adjacent listed chapel. Both your planners and West Sussex Highways support the travel plan measures, on-site parking provision, sustainable location and the promotion of public transport and cycling. To conclude, I'd like to reiterate the public benefits of the proposal. The removal of a derelict eyesore building which improves local amenity, high quality contextual but contemporary architecture, efficient use of brownfield land to provide much needed 1, 2 and 3 bedroom homes in Haywards Heath. This helps reduce the pressure to build on greenfield land or the countryside in the district. The flats provide high quality accommodation that exceeds national space standards and offers each flat private outdoor amenity space. And substantial financial contributions to affordable housing and local infrastructure. We hope that councillors can agree with planning officers and grant planning permission for this beneficial development. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Joyce. Thank you. Unfortunately, the ward councillor couldn't make it here today. Apparently, Brighton are playing a football match somewhere. He offered his apologies, but he said he fully supports the officer's recommendation and please can you get on site as soon as possible. Thank you very much. All right, members, I'm in your hands. Anybody wish to say anything, please? Councillor de Bell.
I wondered if we might see another look at the picture of what it's proposed to look like, because I found that particularly good, and I fully agree with what the council was saying, that it looks terrific.
Joe, could you just put up the CGI, please? Oh, no, can't see it. Oh, there it is.
So that's what it's going to look like. That's pretty good. Yeah.
Well, especially as you look at it and you see the listed building behind, and it blends in extremely well. Yeah. And those who visited this site would have seen with horror what's there now to what's coming. Yeah. It's a no-brainer as far as
I think, personally, I think it's a shame we can't see more buildings like this.
Yes. I can't argue with that at all. My Vice Chairman.
Well, I just wanted to offer my support too in a similar way. I think the integration of the proposed building and the way that the design has been put together so that the brickwork matches the chapel behind it, or the former chapel behind it, I think is excellent. And I'd echo the remarks that have been made by the town council. It really is a very good project, particularly as it's replacing a derelict and dilapidated building that's been an eyesore for a decade or more.
Yeah, since I've been on the council, I know that.
Okay.
Councillor Henwood.
Well, I wonder if all the urban designers' comments have been taken on board, whole pages of how initially they object to it, the urban designer. And he quotes DG 18, DG 27, DG 48, DG 47. These are all design guides which are supposed to help us to make sure that what is produced is to a certain quality. So my question is, have all of those comments, they're in the appendix on page 60 on your screen, I think, have all of those comments been taken on board? And therefore, there has been some redesigning of the initial structure. That's one question, please. Then I have some others.
Joseph, do you want to?
Yep. So following the urban designers' comments, there has been some changes. Obviously, the parking being one of them. There was originally parking along the southern end, which has now been removed. And as I said, the parking now reflects what has been approved under the extant consent. So we have a similar parking situation now. There are a number of, the urban designer has raised a number of comments. Not all of them have been addressed. I think that some of them are to seek to improve the scheme, but as the proposal is currently, it's the officer's opinion that the proposal is of a suitable design and it's, as taken as a whole, it is considered acceptable.
Okay. Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, so we have to respect. I just was amazed at how many design guides the urban designer quoted, and I thought, well, we're supposed to be using those design guides, so I have to take it on board. Your judgment is appropriate. I also have another comment about, it says in sustainability, there will be kind of either air source heat pumps, gas boilers, and PV panels. Well, we saw the PV panels, but are gas boilers, is that still considered a sustainability method? Is it actually still on course that we will be allowing gas boilers to be put into new buildings? That's a question, please, Chairman.
Good question. The sustainability officer, I'll let Joseph answer that, but he hasn't really raised a huge objection.
Yeah, so the sustainability statement submitted as part of the proposal has identified potential measures that will be incorporated. We have got the condition in place which will require the final details to be submitted and approved, and then the proposal to be carried out in accordance with that. But the proposal will need to meet the current building regulations in place. So they have highlighted that it could be air source heat pumps and PV panels, but the final details will come through as part of that condition.
So, Chairman, are we still allowed to incorporate gas boilers in new build? That's one of my questions.
Building regulations cover that. It's not planning. It's
Not
building.
material to us?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay, so I'll find that out information eventually. Now, my other question is, this sum, instead of putting in affordable housing, the commuted sum, it was agreed in 2011. I don't understand this. And that's 5.13 in our papers. So in 2011, according to West Sussex Standard, commuted sum. So first of all, when the first planning application for 14 came forward, I was told that it was not viable for them to do any commuted sum, and certainly not affordable. But why have we got 2011, this 362,000 as the commuted sum? And if that was, I don't understand the chronology. because if we were told when there was an application for 14 flats, it wasn't viable to do anything affordable or commuted sum,
It was below the threshold at that time.
because it was only 14.
Yeah. And 15 was the magic number.
Okay, so why are we still based to commute this sum on legislation or West Sussex County Council in 2011? Surely
Could you
we're
just point
now.
out the page, please?
Yeah, sorry, I know it's 5.717, 5.13. So that's way at the very beginning, so I had to flick back. 5.13, I think that's what it is.
I'm going to ask Mr.
Thank
Rogers
you.
to answer this
Thank you,
one.
Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. There has been a difference, obviously, in viability because this is more units. So obviously, there's more money in the pot. So that allows all those financial contributions now to be paid, whereas in the 2014 scheme, or 2018 scheme, sorry, that wasn't available. So there's more money in the pot. That's how we are able to achieve the Section 106 contributions now. And in terms of that particular point about the housing officer's comments, that's the basis on which they calculate the commuted sums. So that is the West Sussex Community Sum Review letter. That's the basis on which our housing colleagues calculate the commuted sum in respect of affordable housing.
It hasn't been updated, in other words.
It has not been updated.
No.
I gather that. Thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
But it's very good, the fact that we are getting all the contributions now, which we didn't have before. And the money you saw there, 362,000, will go towards
Yeah.
unlocking other affordable housing across, mainly in Hayward but beyond if push comes to shove.
But we should still aim higher.
What, more money?
Well, if it's based on 2011, then surely it should be updated there. I understand it's what they did in 2011, but surely we're 2024 now.
Can I suggest you lobby your county councillor and get them to lobby the people in West Sussex?
Thank you. Thank you,
Okay. Can you
Chairman.
switch your light? Thank you. Councillor Cherry.
Whilst I think that this development is very splendid, I have to express my disappointment regarding the parking reduction. We've got 17 flats and we've now got 14 spaces, and I don't believe there's anything for visitors either, which is a concern. And on page 48 of your report, you're saying that a parking stress survey that was commissioned shows a parking stress in this particular instance of 78.3%. And then in brackets, it says 85% or more is considered at capacity in planning terms. So we're pretty close to that. And there is in that area very limited street, off-street, on-street parking capacity. And I believe it's also a bus route and a cut-through. And I really don't feel that we should be encouraging, more on-street parking in a sort of a bottleneck. And it's a lovely site, and I can't see why you couldn't have provided adequate parking that would be comfortable for the residents. I just feel disappointed. I mean, it's a lovely development,
It is,
but I feel I have to express
but of course.
my views on that.
But Carroll Road, which is
You know,
Colwood Road to say, just the other side of it, is a public highway. And there's no parking restrictions along that road at all. And you'll find a lot of people who work at the hospital park on that road. I'm
park
getting
on
some
that.
nods from some Hayward Heath councillors here. And they park on that road. And why? It's a sustainable location. Just down the road, you've got almost like a bus interchange there from coming in from Hayward Heath up to the hospital, and it's probably the most used bus route that there is in Hayward Heath, if not across the district, to be perfectly honest. So that's how it works there. Yes, but unfortunately, planning permission was granted with 14 before, and as the officer said, you've got to take the whole thing in the round. Highways haven't complained about it. And, you know, it's like a give and take, you know, we're getting smaller units, more units, getting commuted sums which we never had before. And, yes, they did try it on by wanting to use visitor parking across the road, which they were told they couldn't do, but unless you've got somebody out there, a visitor parking space is a visitor parking space, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
But yes, it is,
It's disappointing, you know, other than that, you know, it's a bit of a blot on something which is a lovely
well, I
development.
can't wait to see it built. And I do think there will be a welcome addition to Hayward Heath, to be perfectly honest. And we go from there. Councillor Brown, could you fix your...
Thank you very much. I thought I'd just like to engage in this debate as well. I mean, as you rightly said, well, you didn't say, but there's a lot, how many I've forgotten are a one-bedroom. They're really starter homes. They're a sustainable location. It's quite possible and quite feasible to live there without a car. And you know, that's the sort of thing we should be looking at now. And, you know, 14s should be more than enough. So I don't have a problem with that.
And the fact there are so many bicycle secure storage as well, which is, it just ticks so many boxes. Right, Councillor Hitchcock, you just sneaked in there before I went to...
I think this is an excellent project. I like the design of the building. I think the minimal number of under supply of cars is not the issue here. The issue here is that it's providing benefits which far outweigh the deficits on this project, and I must support it.
Thank you. Right, I'm looking for a proposer. I think my
Yes, I'll
vice-
be happy to propose this.
And Councillor Bashir, you're a Hayward Heath member. Would you like to second this? Yes. Okay. All right, we have a proposer and we have a seconder. And so voting is normal. Green if you support it, red if you don't, and yellow. Oh, Councillor Hedward, you said he...
No, I was jumping the gun.
Oh, you were going for it, weren't you then? Okay. Green if you support it, red if you don't, and yellow if you abstaining. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Somebody's not pressed the button, please tell me it's me. No? We have now got... Right, that's unanimously approved, and thank you very much. Please start building it. Thank you. Sign all the documents first. No, I haven't got any shares. I just want to get rid of the flipping eyesore. Thank you. Is Debbie out there, Joe? To run in here, you can watch on YouTube. Thank you. You're the better looking version of Joe Swift. All right, this is item 6 on the agenda. This is DM 233179, Hayward Heath and Beechhurst Bowls Club. I just like to remind members the only reason this is here is that we are the landowners. And so, Debbie, it's all yours.
Thank you, Chairman. Before I start, if I can just draw members' attention to the update sheet on page 80, and we're recommending that amendment to condition 3, which is the materials condition, and the amendment is to the effect that the replacement shed is stained a similar colour to the existing shed. Okay, so the application before us is for Hayward Heath and Beechhurst Bowls Club, the clubhouse building, Beechhurst Gardens, Butler's Green Road in Hayward Heath. The proposal is for the proposed removal of the existing timber shed, the construction of a larger concrete base and the installation of a new, larger timber shed. And as the chairman has advised, it's before members because the applicant is Mid Sussex District Council and we're also the landowner. So here we can see the location plan. So the site is located immediately adjacent to the clubhouse building, which is sited on the western side of Beechhurst Gardens. To the south of the site, you've got the miniature railway clubhouse building, and as you can see, the miniature railway lies in close proximity to the western side of the site. We've got a water storage tank located to the southwest of the site. This is the Bulls Club clubhouse. The bowling green is located to the northeast. And you've got established tree screening to the west that screens the adjoining care home, the Goldbridge Care Home. So here we can see the existing shed. It's of timber construction with a felt roof. It measures 5.42 metres long by 1.86 metres wide and 2.23 metres high with a mono-pitched roof. So the proposal is to replace this with a larger shed structure. It will have a dual-pitched roof and measures 2.45 metres high, 3.05 metres wide by 4.88 metres long. It will be constructed from redwood timber with a black onduline roof. And the proposal will enlarge the storage facilities for the Bulls Club. So here we can see the photos showing the clubhouse building, and here we can see the existing timber shed, which is discreetly sited against the western flank wall of the building. Here we've got the miniature railway, and as can be seen in this photo here also. There's a beech hedge surrounding the water tank to the southwest. Here we have an example of the timber shed that will be installed. This shows it in its natural state, but as confirmed, it will be conditioned so that it is stained a similar brown colour to the existing shed. The replacement shed is considered acceptable in terms of design and scale and will be effectively sited such that it should not detract from the appearance and character of the area and well screened from any neighbouring amenities. The principle of development is supported by development plan policies. It is therefore requested that the application is recommended for approval as per the conditions listed at Appendix A and as set out in the update sheet. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Debbie. Does anybody wish to debate? Councillor Hitchcock.
Can I suggest that there's not much to discuss here and we get on and approve it?
Yeah, I'd be happy to propose.
And Councillor Hitchcock, second it. Thank you. Can we all vote the normal way, please? Thank you very much. We're now going to item is the TP 230004, land south of 70 Janes Lane, Burgess Hill. And I welcome Beth, our team leader for planning enforcement and trees. Yeah, just press the button to speak.
Thank you, Chairman, and good afternoon, members. On this item, members are being asked whether they wish for a new tree preservation order to be confirmed on land at Janes Lane in Burgess Hill. You'll note from the update sheet that a further representation has been received from the agent of the landowner. This does not alter the position set out in the agenda report. So just to provide members with some background, officers first received requests to make a TPO in relation to these trees in 2022. At that time, we didn't make an order because the trees were not considered to be under threat. Following reports of tree felling on the site in April last year, a careful assessment of the situation on site was undertaken and an emergency order was made to prevent further felling. This order was made on the same day as the officer visit in view of the immediate threat to the trees. Officers discussed this area order with the agent of the landowner and provided an extension of time for him to make an objection to this. The area order expired without confirmation on the 3rd of October, whereupon the order you are now considering was made to ensure the continued protection of these trees. This current order is more specific in nature. Officers have had ongoing discussions with the agent to the landowner throughout the process to explain the position that we have taken. The site itself is a site allocation DPA 2 in the Reg 19 submission draft of the new district plan, and the policy DPA 2 makes specific reference to avoiding the loss of mature trees on the site. So moving to the slides. So here's the location of the site, which is also provided on page 85 to your agenda pack. The site is located on the south of James Lane, which runs here. And running northeast to southwest is a public footpath. You'll note that the order is made up of 3 categories. We have individual orders on T1 and T2. These are oak trees. Individual orders are used where trees merit protection in their own right. We have 4 group orders, 1, 2, 3, and 4 here. Group orders are used to protect groups of trees when an individual order would not be appropriate, as it's the contribution of the group as a whole that is important and not any one tree. And then finally, we have the woodland category up here, which is used to safeguard a woodland as a whole. This is the most stringent of the orders and protects the woodland for its own sake. Woodland orders do not just protect the trees on site at the time that the order is made, but they also include trees and saplings which grow naturally or are replanted after the order is made. Within the woodland order, it is acknowledged that there are some non-native trees, and officers would likely support their removal if an application was made for this. This has been communicated to the agent. On the following slide, this is an aerial image which better shows the trees within the site and also the location here of the public footpath. It is important to note that if the landowner wishes to undertake works to any of the trees or indeed fell them, this order would simply mean that they would have to apply to the council first so that a full assessment could be undertaken as to the merit of the proposal. The application process would also secure the ability for the council to require replanting where felling is proposed. The matter has been brought to this committee for a decision due to the receipt of an objection to its confirmation. This objection, officers' response to it, and a thorough assessment are presented in the report in some detail, so I won't rehash them here. Just to provide a little bit more context, so this photograph here is taken looking west, with the footpath on the left-hand side. You can see the trees in the distance here. This is looking south on the bend. This is the woodland area. Now, these are older photographs taken from Google. Regrettably, a couple of these trees have been felled, which is what prompted the emergency order in the first place. And the recommendation is that the order is confirmed. Thank you, Chairman.
Well, it's a very important entrance into Burgess Hill. On that bend, there was some houses granted permission on appeal, if I remember rightly. We objected. It wasn't a linear development, but the inspector didn't agree with us because we didn't have a 5-year land supply. But this is very important, those trees are there. So, councillor Cherry, this is your ward. Would you wish to speak? You can press the...
Sorry, I hadn't prepared anything, but I'm
But
very much in favour of putting this new tree preservation order through to safeguard this entire woodland. Very, very important that it's...
It is. It doesn't mean they can't do work. They just got to clear it through the council first.
Yes.
And for those who remember, we had a similar situation in my ward in Ardenley, where I had issues or grants in it, but I could see the merit of it, so therefore I voted for it at the time, because it's the right thing to do. We're not saying they can't work on the trees, but they just got to clear it through our officers to do it. Councillor Henwood.
I just want to compliment our tree officers department for such prompt action when they found out the trees were being felled, and I fully support an order to go forward on this. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, does anybody else wish to speak?
Can I just perhaps say a quick
Yes.
word? As you say, Gary, this is right on the edge of West Sussex, right on the edge of the district, right next to the East Sussex border. It is an entranceway into the town. It's a particularly nice part of the town, and it is something that we should look to preserve, and that's what this is all about. So I'm going to be very supportive of this application.
Okay, we'll go to the vote. Nobody else to speak. Councillor Cherry, do you wish to propose?
Yes, I'm very much.
And councillor...
I'll second that, certainly.
Okay, so we have a proposer and a seconder. So could you vote in the normal way? Your line's still on. Thank you. Questions pursuant to council procedure rule 10.2, due notice which has been given. I have none, so therefore I will close the meeting at 16:46-ish. Well, it's 10 seconds past it.